A man will not believe it. And yet he has evidence morning, noon, and night that his own wonderful creative power, which is his own wonderful human imagination, is producing the phenomena of life. He sees it all around him, but he shuns it away. It's easier for him to genuflect before some little thing made by the human hand. So he put him on the wall and crossed himself for luck. I think, no, that's it. That's good. Now I've done my duty today. So he goes to church and he sings the hymns with all the others. And you think, no, I've done my duty, and give generously to the church. Perfectly all right. If you get any pleasure out of it, do it. But that's not serving the true God. If you want a social gathering, certainly go to church. Go to the coffee breaks following the service and ask 1% of those who come out of service, what was the text today? And he will look at you with some vacant look. What? What was the text? What did he say? What was the theme of his subject today? They don't know. But it's a place to go on certain days of the year, especially on Christmas, on Easter, and days of that nature. Others make it a point to go once a week. They think they're doing God a favor. You're walking with God morning, noon, and night. You take him to bed with you because your essential being is God. And there is no other God. Were he not within you, you couldn't even breathe. Your breath is God. Every child born of woman is God incarnate. If man only knew that, there could be no war in the world. Killing man is killing God. For every child born of woman is the incarnation of God. Whether you be black, yellow, pink, white, or any other color, there is no other being in this world but God. So the incarnation takes place every time a little child is born and it breathes, and you spank it to get it to cry. That moment was the incarnation of God. And how can you kill him? How can you hurt him? Just teach him and show him what power is latent within him. For the whole vast world aches for the awakening of the imagination in man. And the story as told us in Scripture is a true story.
So I let that one go on a little longer than I wanted to. But, you know, even after knowing the truth and proving it to yourself, it's so easy and lazy to turn around and say, well, it would have happened like that anyway. And then you go right back to sleep. Like Neville says, you'd rather go back to the comfort zone, you know, run home to mama, so to speak. Run into the arms of the Trinkets, you know, no matter what they are in whatever religion or whatever you were brought up with. And if you were brought up without it, maybe there's just nothing. I don't know. But he's right. It's you know, I guess that was Neville expressing some kind of frustration at seeing, and he's talking about people who have actually witnessed how this really is the truth. And yet some of them still, they'd rather run back to that comfort zone. I'm not sure what that's about. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't just enjoy, as I've said in the past, a religious tradition you were brought up with. I mean, I still, you know, I have a wife and a child, and, you know, my wife likes to go to church once in a while. You know, I go to church once in a while. I have to take my child over there. But I look at it from an enlightened vantage point. I get things out of it. You know, I enjoy it for the wonderful creation that it is, that it always was, the tradition that's there. I mean, if you were raised, say, Christian, for example, who doesn't enjoy the ambiance and the feeling of being in a church on Christmas Eve, or maybe on Easter Sunday, or whatever the religion is? I'm sure there's parts of it, you know, that go back from when you were a child that you enjoy. There's nothing wrong with that. But what Neville's talking about is running back to the to worshiping those false gods the way you did before you knew what the truth was. By all means, enjoy it with an open mind and an expanded perspective. Two different things here. So, you know, I always felt frustrated when I was in that mode You would pray to this deity, this external deity that you weren't even really sure if it existed. You were just, as they say, taking it on faith. And it's basically, most people would do prayers of petition, is what it's called. You're petitioning this external deity to hopefully find within its heart to bestow upon you that which you need, crave, desire, whatever. And it just, after a while, it just rings hollow and empty. And to discover this material is so liberating when you find out that no, there is no external deity. He is alive within me, right? God is within you and you are within God. It's like it's a mutually beneficial thing, and you are connected to source, and you don't have to petition something out there. There's nothing out there to petition. But a lot of people, they just, they put their little, whatever it is, their little altars and their little figures, whatever it is, and they light candles and say their little prayers and hope that these things are going to, but it's one thing if that's all you know. But once you know the truth, to just kind of get lazy and go back to that mode, I don't know, maybe it's a comfort thing for some people. Maybe they're not truly ready for it. I don't know. But that's the things that I think about when I hear that little clip by Neville that I just played.